How to proceed in Velikov, Tal, Berlin, summer 1986. What did Misha play with black? But it's only it's the best chance. The position is still a draw then. Rook a6. I like the move as it poses a difficult question to white. How to defend now? Rook c7 check followed by f7 or rook h6. How to use vice rook? Rook h6 is right. The idea is to meet d3 with f7, and now the f pawn would queen, and this of course doesn't make sense for white. Therefore for black. So Tal would probably have chosen rook b6, and now it is more or less a draw, as white has won valuable time in this race. Yeah, and this will be a draw sooner or later. Now black's rook is too passive. This was the point of rook h6, to force black's rook into passivity. While in the game, after the check, black's more active king now decides the issue in Tal's favor, as his rook is now well placed, much better than on f8. Yeah, here the typical example that the rook is well placed behind the pass pawn, because now it can pressurize also white's king and king side. How to break the resistance, typical Tal style. e3, of course. Yeah, this is it. King c2 also wins. Yeah, and king c2 also wins. But this is the Tal style move. If the pawn takes, then after king e2, his king is well sheltered by the umbrella e3. And the d pawn cannot be stopped anymore. And of course, rook takes f7 would also always be a motive. Yeah, for example, here and now. Rook takes f7 would also be a motive. Typical Tal style. And here, white also loses. The d pawn is just the strongest trump, and the draw tendency of rook endings doesn't apply here somehow. The d pawn will cost the rook sooner or later. Now, rook f5. And finally, rook c5 to open a road for black's king. And so Velikov resigned, as the d pawn will cost his rook too early, and his counterplay, of course, is insufficient.